Thanks very much, Premier. And having been on the ground now since yesterday afternoon, it's terrific to see such a hive of activity around the Cairns region and Far North Queensland in helping people who've been through a lot over the last few days. Any of you who've been here will have noticed lots of helicopters up and down from the airport. We've got so many Ergon crews on every corner, you lose count of them, which is great to see that work happening with reconnections. But we know that we're really just at the beginning of this response and recovery phase, and there is an enormous amount of work yet to be done. The Premier's outlined to you some of the assistance the Australian Defence Force has provided in recent days, and I want to thank the men and women of the Australian Defence Force for the incredible work they've done. Dozens of evacuations from Wudjil yesterday, with more to come today. The ADF has also airlifted dozens of emergency personnel from Townsville to Cairns to replenish the human resources here, bring fresh legs, provide a bit of fatigue management to people who've been hard at it for days. And we've also been providing aerial and flood imagery to help support Queensland Government decision making. As the Premier just mentioned, today we're able to announce the third round of disaster assistance for affected Far North Queenslanders. So far, we've already triggered the joint funding with the Queensland Government for personal hardship assistance. Yesterday, you would have seen that the Prime Minister activated the Australian Government Disaster Recovery Payment and Disaster Recovery Allowance. And today, we're able to announce again joint funding between the Federal and Queensland Government for the beginning of support for farmers and small businesses who've been affected by this. I can see for myself that there's been a lot of impact on farms and small businesses around this region, and they need our support. So what we're activating today are freight subsidies being made available to primary producers in some of the hardest hit areas, and that's to alleviate the costs of moving stock and operating materials around. Hinchinbrook Shire Council has now been activated for funding towards counter-disaster operations and the reconstruction of essential public assets like roads and bridges. That joins a number of other councils that were already activated for that. We're also announcing disaster assistance and essential working capital loans for affected primary producers, small businesses and not-for-profits to assist with the repair and recovery of essential equipment and for loss of income. All of that assistance is being made through the joint Commonwealth State Disaster Recovery Funding Arrangements, and as I say, is on top of the assistance that's already been announced. Can I thank the media for the work they've done so far in spreading the word about those payments? If I can ask you to keep doing so. I met people yesterday at Holloway's Beach who, because they haven't had power and phone reception, while that's still getting rectified, there are a lot of people who aren't aware of the payments that are available. So if you can assist us in that regard and getting that information out, that would be much appreciated. Just a couple of other quick things that the Premier didn't touch on. Clearly, to all who've seen it, we face a really massive clean-up exercise here in Far North Queensland. The water, the mud, the smell, it's going to take a lot of work from a lot of people, and I've already seen lots of volunteers out there helping along. What we've been able to do, working with the state government, is engage a number of major contractors to assist with that clean-up work. That is the process that we've often adopted in other parts of the country when we've seen massive disasters. And they will have people ready to go quite quickly to assist the councils with those clean-up efforts. So we've just talked that through with councils this morning, encouraging them to take up that offer. And also, obviously, one of the key issues we still face in some of the remote communities is resupply of food, groceries, medicine, water. Things are starting to happen there, which is terrific to see, with roads beginning to resume opening. That will make that effort easier as well. But making sure that those communities have access to food, water and medicine is clearly a big priority as well. The last thing I just wanted to say is that it's already obvious that we're seeing the incredible heart here in Far North Queenslanders that many of us know exists, but we're now seeing on display. And just to give you one example, yesterday I was down at Holloway's Beach and I ran into a bloke called Roscoe. I don't actually know what his real name is, but he's just Roscoe. Fortunately, he didn't suffer terrible flooding to his home, but he took in 10 neighbours and their pets, their dogs, their birds, all sorts of other things, to give them some emergency housing when they needed it. They're the kind of examples we're seeing right across this community, and I know it's that community spirit that will get Far North Queensland through.